Okay, so I'm here with Lindsay. She's a trainer. She works out of her own home in Red Lake. She used to do strength and conditioning in London, Ontario, and she also focuses on nutrition. So the first question is, what was your first step to starting your own business?
I actually started my own business kind of as a fluke at first. The box gym that I was working at in London, they didn't want to have employees working for them, so they would rather have somebody that was running their own business but using their facility. So I basically started my own business so I could do contracting work for them, and
awesome.
From there it just continued on.
So you didn't really mean to jump into it, it just kind of happened?
Yeah, it just kind of happened, and I liked it. And after that, after I left that gym, moving up here, I just kind of continued on my own.
Okay. So how long did it take you to kind of establish yourself?
As a trainer or in my business?
Business.
Before I started really making a very comfortable income, it was about 3 years.
3 years? Okay. So is managing your clients difficult?
No, I'd say it's pretty easy. I mean, the way I tend to do it, I know a lot of trainers make the mistake of taking on way too many people.
Yeah.
So I just charge a lot more and work with fewer people so that it's easier for me to manage. So they pay more for the service, but they get much higher quality service.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good. So what are some obstacles that you deal with or have dealt with?
I think the main thing for me was moving. Like my fiance's job requires us to kind of move around. So having an established business and leaving an established business to rebuild it all over again is not easy to do.
No. So you just bring all this with you when you go?
Yep. So here, like I'm training out of my house here, but I actually mostly, like anywhere else, I'd probably be using studio space.
Okay.
Just because it's such a small community, trying to keep my overhead costs down.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so do you find that there's any peak times during the year, like when people come to you more or they drop out?
Yeah, I find it's a lot busier in the new year with people's New Year's resolutions. And it's also pretty busy, I find, in the early fall, like in September, like with clients who have kids going back to school and have a little bit more time. Or I find, at least before when I was living in London, that I had a lot of students as clients starting up in September as well.
Okay.
Slow times tend to be around the holidays, like in December. And some summers are a little slower than others, but most of the time it's pretty steady. Do
you lose a lot of clients around Christmas time, or?
I don't anymore, because I've got the online training going. So people on that side of things pay a monthly fee, and they have a little bit more autonomy, so they don't need to work around appointment scheduling.
Okay.
They just have access to their online programming whenever they want it. Previously, though, just because of holiday commitments and people traveling a lot around that time of year, I did lose business, didn't lose clients. I just wasn't as busy.
Yeah, for sure. How about summers? Like, are people very dedicated, or same thing because they're online?
For the most part, during the summer, I may not see people as frequently in person, but most of my clients that I actually see in person are taking advantage of the online training as well. Okay. So they're just combining it.
That's awesome. So because we're in a small town, what are some advantages that you see in our town?
Word of mouth is huge here. So you don't have to spend any money really on advertising at all, as long as you're giving your clients good service. I filled up my schedule pretty quickly that way, so I haven't had to spend any money on advertising.
Well, that's good. So what are some disadvantages, and if any?
I think disadvantages are more just like client availability, really. Like, I find that it's a little bit more limited in this community, particularly compared to where I worked before. I'm used to working in large cities where there's a lot more people, but also different demographic.
Okay.
Like Red Lake's very blue collar, and traditionally that type of person doesn't invest in their health quite as much as somebody that's a little more white collar.
Okay.
But that's really about it, I think.
Okay. So for staffing wise, you don't hire any staff? Do you work just on your own, or?
Right now I work on my own. I do have other people working with me online doing things like social networking, marketing, and graphic design. And I've had interns and students and stuff like that, but I don't have quite enough demand, at least in person here, to want to hire on somebody else.
Okay, so you wouldn't take on another trainer to help you or anything?
Not for in-person clients. I think if I build up my business big enough online, I've only been really doing that for 4 months.
Oh, okay.
Then I'll probably look at hiring somebody else to help me out with that.
Okay.
It's getting to that point.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So how do you, or would you decide who to hire? Like what?
I think a lot of it's, for me, is background. Like, I find a lot of people that work in the industry don't have the credentials to back up what they're doing.
No?
They don't have the education behind it. A lot of people are just fly by night. Like they like working out and they're good at training themselves.
I find that a lot of people
mean you can train anyone else.
think they're trainers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you, how much education did you receive before you started your own business?
Well, I've got 2 honors degrees, one in health science and one in kin. And I've got a master's of science in kinesiology as well.
Wow.
Specializing in sports medicine.
Awesome. So do you take on a lot of sports players around here, or is it more just training?
Back home for me, that's all I trained. I worked only with athletes there. Here, like I said, the demographics are a little bit different. There's not as much in the way of competitive sports.
Yeah.
So I do have a few like competitive triathletes and stuff here, but for the most part, I just have average Joes.
Average, yeah. So are you certified through CSEP with?
I have an exercise physiology certification through CSEP, and I have strength and conditioning through the NSCA. Okay.
So do you attend, or would you attend conferences to further your education if some arose?
I do. I go to conferences regularly. I haven't as much in the last 3 years just because it's a lot further to travel from here.
Yeah.
I tend to go to NSCA conferences more often.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't have much of an option around here.
Yeah.
So for legal and finance, so how did you go about getting your license and or insurance to do your in-home gym?
Well, I have an aunt that owns an insurance company, so I went through her. But I had already had a lawyer and accountant that basically just told me everything I needed to do, and I just did what they told me to do.
Oh, okay.
They do a lot of it for me.
Yeah. Okay, so you would obviously hire a lawyer, like to be for me, and then
if you're going into your own business, absolutely,
yeah.
I would hire a lawyer.
Okay. Did you get a loan when you started up your business, or?
I didn't get a loan just because when I first started out, I was subcontracting at another gym, so I didn't have the overhead of having to buy all the equipment.
Yeah.
And then when I did get to a point where I was opening up my own spot, my own studio, I had enough money already to just buy it outright, so I haven't had to go into debt for my business.
Oh, that's awesome. Have you ever received any grants for your business?
No, I haven't.
No? Okay. So throughout all this, have you had any hidden or unexpected expenses that have popped up that you weren't aware of?
There's always expenses related to business. I mean, but I think the biggest one for me that I guess I just underestimated what it would be the cost of taking things like credit cards, for example. Like it's a few $100s a month for me.
Really?
Off my income because I'm running things off of PayPal and other like in-person like credit card machines.
So it'd be better to kind of just say cash or check only.
I think that in some ways you lose business that way though.
That's true.
The one thing I do like about being able to take a credit card is I have clients on automated billing. So I don't have to worry about collecting money from them. Their credit cards are automatically charged every month for how many sessions they use.
That makes sense. So in the end it might work out if you...
Save you time.
Yeah. So... So how do you determine what your prices would be? Do you have any...
Well, when I lived in London, I did a bit of like market research.
Okay.
And because I was working with somebody that had been well established there for a long time when I got out of school and had a lot of experience, we set my prices that way. Now coming to Red Lake, it was a little bit more of a process of elimination sort of thing.
Yeah.
I started off the rates that I was charging in London. However, I was working in London for 10 years and was pretty well established there.
Yeah.
and I didn't get any business at first, so I kept cutting my prices until I did.
Yeah.
And then once I filled up, I started increasing them again.
So it's kind of a disadvantage of working in a small town.
Yeah, I find that I can't charge nearly as much here.
Okay.
And I don't have really any competition, but it still kind of works out that way.
Yeah, well, that's good. So how do you go about a no-show or a cancellation? Like, how does...
When my clients are filling out their contract paperwork in the beginning, there's a clause in there that says that if they don't cancel an appointment that's scheduled within 24 hours, they're charged for that appointment. Now, obviously, things happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes people wake up and they're sick or their kids are sick. And if it's a once-in-a-while sort of thing, just to keep the client relation a little bit more positive, I don't charge them. But
okay.
As soon as it becomes frequent, like if it happens 2 or 3 times, every session is charged.
Okay. So, yeah, that's good. So, for marketing, so you said a lot of the way you get your clients is by mouth around here or voice. So, how else do you attract clients around here?
I use social media a lot.
Yeah.
I have gotten more clients from Facebook than any other mode of advertisement.
That's actually how I found you, was on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so you have a logo?
Yep.
Yeah. How did you design that?
I worked with a graphic designer.
Okay, so you just made it up.
Yeah, we kind of went through ideas, and he sent me different samples, and then we just modified them, worked around them, and until we got something that I liked. That
works out. So your name that you under, how did you figure out how to, like, what to call yourself?
When I was speaking to a few people about advertising and marketing, they said in terms of like search engine hits and that sort of thing, it might be easier to use my name as my business name, which is what I did. Yeah, I did it just because it's easier to find me that way.
For sure, it is. So do you offer any deals or promotions throughout the year?
I offer promotions once a year. I don't offer them often because I find it devalues your service.
Yeah.
And then people don't want to pay what you're worth.
That's true.
So once a year I have a body transformation challenge. So I take clients online and in person.
Okay.
It's a 6-month program. They have nutrition content, designed workouts, personal training sessions, and whoever gets the best transformation challenge at the end, or best transformation at the end, wins a prize. But the registration for that's offered at a bit of a discount.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you find that more people will sign up when you do the promotion, or is it just throughout the year that people will just...
I'd say it's about even.
Even?
Yeah, I do pick up a lot of new clients during that promotion. I think it's just because a lot of people think it's kind of cool to be in that competition, and they have the potential of winning free sessions, and it saves them a little bit of money. But
so you think that doing a competition gets people motivated to go out and do things?
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's certain personality types that it works well for, others not so much.
Okay. Makes sense. So if one of your current client refers a new client to you, do you offer the current client anything, or is it...
I give clients free sessions for referrals if their referral buys a package.
Awesome. That's a good thing. So for services, do you ever offer couple deals? So when a couple wants to come work out to motivate each other?
Yeah, I offer like a discounted rate for the second person if they're training together. Okay. So I don't just let them split that cost.
Yeah.
There's an added cost to it, but it still saves them each a little bit of money if they're working out together. And it does help with motivation.
So it could either be husband and wife or two friends
yeah,
or anything?
As long as they have a similar fitness level and similar goals. If they're 2 completely different people, then it doesn't really work.
Yeah, for sure. So they got to be looking for the same goal, pretty much. Is that what you want?
Similar goals, similar experience or fitness level.
Okay, for sure. Do you ever offer group classes?
I have a lot in the past. I'm not doing that right now just because I've got too many things on the go, like between online coaching.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a space for it here either.
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
how do you find that the online works better, or is it?
It's different, right? So the reason I like online training is because it gives me a lot more freedom.
That's true.
Right? So if a client signs up, they get a private login. They get customized programming, just like they would be getting if I was training them in person. And they're getting me on the videos, demonstrating the exercises and explaining it. They save a lot more money doing it.
So it's cheaper?
It's cheaper for them monthly. Like most of my training packages online range from $80 a month to $350 a month. Most of my personal training clients are spending over $1,000 a month if they're seeing me in person.
Okay.
So it saves them a lot of money, but it saves me a lot of time and freedom.
For sure.
The other thing I like about it is you don't have the issues of cancellations and the like ebb and flow throughout the year because of holidays and stuff like that.
For sure.
You have a guaranteed income and you know what you're going to make.
That's actually a very good idea. So, how many clients do you see in one day?
Before I was doing online training, I was seeing 10 to 12.
Okay.
Which is insane, and I don't recommend it.
At 1 hour each client?
1 hour-ish each client,
yeah.
Wow. But now I won't take any more than 6 clients in a day.
So
I just charge more to kind of bring down the demand a little bit.
Okay. Makes sense. So if you were to restart from the very beginning, is there anything you would do differently?
I think that I've grown a lot over the last 10 years. When I first started out, because I've been a competitive athlete my entire life. I've been weight training since I was 12. Like, I pushed certain clients a little too hard too soon. I think that's the biggest mistake that I made. And, weird. So I think that I would have changed my training style a little bit and been a little bit more accommodating.
Okay.
And I also would have started online training way sooner than I did.
So you think that online is...
I think it's kind of like the future of the industry. I think it's moving there. It's more convenient. It's more affordable. And people have better access to top-notch trainers that way as well.
With the busy lifestyle, that makes sense now because you can do it at 9 o'clock when your kids go to bed or whatever.
Yep.
So what do you do specifically that your clients keep coming back to you?
I think I do a very good job of tailoring my programs to what they want and what they need. And the way that I train is very organized. Like they see me for their workouts, but they also have a specific program to follow. Most of them have their homework exercises online so they can see and they don't have to remember all the names of the exercises. And I think a big part of it is I get my clients results, and it's because I don't just focus on fitness. I focus on nutrition, and for body transformation, all of your results come from nutrition. Very little comes from training.
Yes. So second last question. Do you ever give money back, or like if somebody has to stop right away, or is it already budgeted for and it's a set?
I give them, they have so for the online clients, they have a month. So if they go through the first month and they're not completely satisfied with the service that they get, then I will refund them their money. I've not ever had a client ask for their money to be refunded.
No? Okay.
As far as in-person clients go, when they buy packages, if they're buying a whole bunch of sessions at once, they have 2 weeks to change their mind. So if they change their mind, I give them all their money back unless they've used some of the sessions.
Okay.
Otherwise, I just refund them for what they haven't used. So after that period, then it's their responsibility.
Okay. So overall, what do you think? What's the biggest advantage
of being in business for yourself? Yeah. The flexibility.
Okay. Like,
if I want to go on vacation, I can go on vacation whenever I want, and I don't have to ask anybody any permission. So that's kind of nice. They're good and bad things, really. Yeah, like, you're in complete control over your schedule and the way that your life kind of goes.
So you can kind of run your business around your personal life?
Yep. Yeah. But that being said, if you're training people in person, you still have to accommodate the client, right?
That's true.
So
yeah.
Even though I hate working in the evening, I do it because that's when I'm busiest.
Yeah, for sure.
And you kind of just have to be available for them at other times too, like, because a lot of them are looking for your help outside of their appointment times, like through email and there's other time kind of consuming things that you have to do as a business owner, like paperwork and financials. So
yeah, there's a lot. Anyways, well, thank you very much for doing this interview with me.
Anytime.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.